Industrial corn and the ethanol breakthrough. A significant turning point in the 20th century was the mass production of corn, which allowed for the production of ethanol, a corn-based fuel, to increase dramatically both in the U.S. and the world.
Corn was first cultivated in Mexico in 2100 BCE. After corn was spread into Europe, Africa, and Asia, corn was brought into the Americas and became a staple crop by the 19th century.
In 1826, Samuel Morey invented the first engine to run on ethanol. It was also known as a combustion engine. There were many other inventions of vehicles that ran on ethanol, but the most successful one was invented in 1908 by the Ford Motor Company. This vehicle was exceptional because it was designed to use ethanol, or a combination of two fuels. This is important because more companies today are supporting the idea of ethanol as a new source of fuel. Why use up the forests, which were centuries in the making, and the mines which required ages to lay down, if we can get the equivalent of forest and mineral products in the annual growth of the hemp fields?
Ethanol was first used, which was corn liquor at the time, with Henry Ford the Model T. When he produced the Model T, he produced it to be able to run on ethanol or gasoline. It's just amazing that 100 years plus later, we're just starting to get ethanol to be a renewable, viable fuel throughout the country. But Henry Ford started in 1908, and what a visionary he was. And so we hope that the auto industry will continue to embrace ethanol and move it forward as Henry Ford started in 1908.
Years later, in 1942, during World War II, ethanol was a widely used fuel source used to fuel vehicles and tanks. After the war, the use of ethanol increased in the U.S. This is a turning point because the use of ethanol as a fuel in the war was a reassurance to the U.S. consumers.
Because of the increased use of ethanol, many farmers in the U.S. planted corn every year. Not all the corn was used for ethanol. It was also used to feed many livestock for food and other products of everyday use.
Some may think that corn is wasted on ethanol, but all of the parts of corn are used. When the corn is harvested, the starch is extracted from the kernels and then made into ethanol. The kernels can then be ground and made into different foods or for silage. Husks are used in making tamales, and the stalks can also be made into silage. The corn stalks are used in many medical treatments, including congestive heart failure, diabetes, and high blood pressure.
Since the production of ethanol has started, it has increased the industry of corn. In 2012, 13.3 billion gallons of ethanol were produced. Currently, ethanol is about 5% of the fuel market and is expected to increase in the coming years. Corn is the most widely used crop in the U.S. It is spread and is grown in all countries except Antarctica.
Ethanol is used as transportation energy throughout the world. Brazil uses sugarcane to make their ethanol. Other South American countries are looking to start producing ethanol as a transportation energy. So ethanol is not only something that's domestic here in the United States and be able to produce locally, also other countries can produce it and use it locally for their own transportation energy source. So it's a cleaner burning product that's not harmful to the environment, especially not harmful to the environment if it's spilled compared to fossil fuels. And so it's the next clean burning alternative that's going to be used throughout the world as it is today.
Some may be against growing corn for the use of ethanol because they believe that too much water is used in irrigation to water the corn. This is not true because only 12% of corn is grown using irrigation and the other 88% is grown using dryland farming, which means when using dryland farming, you do not use irrigation. We will be able to use ethanol as a fuel source as long as we are growing corn. We believe that ethanol will be around for a long time since it is a renewable fuel. Ethanol has helped to become a turning point since it is made by locally grown crops.
We believe ethanol has become a turning point in our transportation energy. Over the last 10 years, the ability to process ethanol and grow, right now it's mainly corn-based ethanol, being able to withdraw the starch out of the corn and have a renewable fuel is something that is, again, a renewable. And so it's a great opportunity for us to keep our energy and transportation energy needs local. Corn ethanol and biodiesel fuel both are grown locally in our communities. So that enables us to limit our amount of foreign oil we import and create jobs here in the United States and here locally in our communities. And so with that, we believe that the renewable fuels that are available today are going to have a large impact on our transportation energy now and in the future.
Ethanol is a turning point because of its widespread use. It is also a renewable fuel. Ethanol burns cleaner, which reduces the air and water pollution. The production of ethanol has and will increase the industry of corn and has given manufacturers and customers more options on vehicles.